Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the second day of this Challenger Cup weekend. I hope you all had a great rest of your Saturday, and welcome on this wonderful Sunday. As you will see behind me, I guess for you guys, we have the top 8 of our tournament all assembled in one room. 3 versus 3. The round has just started. We are about to begin jumping into some of these games. Of course, we already watched at the first day of this tournament. Yesterday, we saw the Swiss rounds, and today we have 8 teams remaining to find out who is going to win this 2-day event in Master Duel. All right, let's jump into our first feature match for this top 8. We have Nicky Boy, Quantal, and Bronas over here who finished the Swiss rounds of the tournament undefeated, first place in Swiss. And they are up against Team Yama in Top Cut, who just barely made it into the Top Cut at a 4-2 record. So 8th place after Swiss, but it doesn't matter. The tiebreakers are now erased. From now on, it is going to be single elimination. So whoever wins gets to advance into the top 4, and whoever loses is out. So let's jump into our first match of this best of 9, essentially, because it is a 3 versus 3 Challenger Cup. And that is going to be Bronas up against Nora here, who is going first. And passes. Okay, that is not what you want to see for your first game of the Top Cut, especially if you've got 2 teammates on the other side waiting for you to win your match, and then we just draw an unplayable hand going first. All right, well, that is not what I was hoping to see for the first match today, but it is what it is. We have a Mo Charming Fuwalos at least to maybe counteract the maybe you know, kill the bleeding a little bit. However, we have a second Fuwalos, but I think the reason why we're chaining this High Spirits is because we're trying to search for an Ecclesia so that we can summon it from hand. Yeah, so this second Fuwalos actually I think is not great to commit here. No in-game sound? There is in-game sound. I can see it in OBS. There is in-game sound. It's very low. I can turn it up if you guys think it should be higher, but there definitely is in-game sound. Okay, and yeah, that was enough under the double Fuwalos here. 1-0. I mean, unfortunate start here for Nora, going first and drawing the double Fuwalos. No play next to it, it seems like. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Sarama, Shayama, double Fuba crossout. Yeah, it happens. It happens. All right, we've got a Quantal activating Pot of Desires here. We do know Quantal is on Sky Striker, and we chain linkage to it. That is going to give us 0. We draw 2 cards from Desires, and we add a Sky Striker spell, but we do get hit with a Harmonia here, also revealing the fact that we are playing Cool Tune on the other side. Of course, the decks of these players should be known at this point because they are playing the same decks as yesterday. I just don't remember each and every single one of them, but yeah, okay. We have an Upstart Goblin, which is going to be the 3rd spell in the graveyard, and we follow this up with an Engage, which does resolve. No Ash, no Purge, so that's going to be another linkage added to the hand for Quantal. Fallen at the Virtuous is activated, destroying the Harmonia. At this point, there's nothing that's worth getting rid of with the Wind Pegasus yet, so we're not going to use that. Kagari is going to add back Engage. We have Ghost Bell, though, which is a pretty good card to have here, cutting them off of the Engage. The problem, however, is that we are down to 3 cards with Cool Tune. Shizuku Pass with only 2 set cards. We are going to get another Fallen at the Virtuous, though. So it's going to be Shizuku and 3 face downs. 4 cards in hand. Duelist Genesis. That is a promising start because that will give you the ability to... Okay, well, get drawn and lockbirded is also what it gives you the ability to. And we get... Ah, okay. Droll and Lockbird and Ash Blossom when the player going first has them, huh? All right. I mean, yeah, that's one way to start the tournament. Or the top cut, I suppose. And we have a linkage. Yeah, some might call this the world champ difference. And then others might call it the Droll and Lockbird difference. You know? Alright, we have an Ash Blossom for the 0 to search. However, the 0 will still be guaranteed follow-up because on the next turn we contribute it. Which is probably what we're going to start with, unless we just drew like another engage or upstart goblin or something. But you kind of want to just go for damage here and then tag out into... This could already be enough damage depending on what we have. Unless there is another Ash or Bell. There is another Bell. Okay. And this is the point of the game where, you know, Sky Striker, it's dependent on did they draw another Ray or Rose or something to get back into the engine. Because once you tribute the 0, you are out of, you know, Sky Striker monsters. So you need to have another one. But we do have another Ray here. So that is going to guarantee follow-up. As well as Kagari for engage again. And at this point, I think it's just Cool Tune doesn't have enough pushes possibly here to deal with this. Set 1. Not going for Kagari here. Interesting. I guess... Because the Kagari does not guarantee an interruption, whereas Ray tagging out into 0 is an interruption. We have a second copy of Duelist Genesis. That's going to go for Cool Tune Synchro. And the question is, if we have a normal summon of a Cool Tune here that we can protect with the Cool Tune Synchro, I think that would be really strong. Because that way we can even play through something like a Widow Anchor. Which we know was in Quantal's hand because the Shizuku was adding it. Probably banished all Lemnis Gates. Is a possibility, yeah. I mean, every time you start with Pot of Desires, there's always a small chance. Oh, it's a Cool Tune Clip. Okay. Not the perfect card to have here. That is the one Cool Tune normal summon that isn't really good next to Rotary in this particular spot. Now we go activate. Okay, well, I mean. All right. Ash Blossom number 2, securing the win for Quantal here going first. Well then, what happened in Nikki Boy's game? Nikki Boy did lose. Nikki Boy did lose. It was not a clean sweep by Team T2. They did actually lose one game. It was Max, who I believe was playing the Orcus deck, being victorious against Nikki Boy here. So the team is not going down 3-0. They are defending at least one of their games. So it could, honestly, I mean, what do you expect, right? Like sometimes at the end of the day, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! So sometimes it's a card game. Sometimes you get unlucky, you go first, you don't draw a playable hand. Completely fine to lose that game. Sometimes you go second and your opponent has Droll and Lockbird and 2 Ash Blossoms in their hand as well. So sometimes you lose that game as well. That is just normal. That happens sometimes. So we move on and at least able to win one of the games. So not down 3 games right from the start. All right. They are trying to come back here. Team Yama, that is. But Nikki Boy has other plans. Nikki Boy wins this coin flip and goes first with Cool Tune himself. And we go Rotary, Reveal Rico. Limited Rotary. Let's go. The consistency hits coming in hot here. We chain Molcharmi Fualos to the Rotary. But because we waited until they summoned it, now they can chain Cool Tune Synchro. But we do have Ash Blossom for that. We do, in fact, have Ash Blossom for that. So that is going to stop them from responding to the Fuwa with that. And now, if they want to keep going, they will have to give draws for the Molcharmi. But you can now kind of safely normal summon Rico. Of course, normally you would not want to do this to play around Droll and Lockbird. But because the Fuwalos is active, you know your opponent doesn't really want to use Droll even if they have it, or it's unlikely they do. So we can just do that clip search for basically free, and then go into track maker. 1 draw for the Molcharmi, and honestly, we're probably going to keep it at that, and then just synchro on the opponent's turn with Cool Tune synchro and clip, and probably be fine. I mean, we'll see what the opponent is going to top deck into here. We go for JJ Cool Tune, and we look at the hand of a second Ash Blossom, which is actually not bad here, because that will cover a potential Cool Tune synchro on the next turn, so we cannot rely on that being an interruption. The rest of the hand, however, a little bit mixed. I mean, we have a Sarama, which is not a play on its own. We have Yugioh, which is an okay extender, and we have a Fiendsmith Engraver, which is of course good, but you never know if that's going to resolve against Cool Tune. They have so many ways to stop a card like Engraver that I'm not sure that you can really bank on that. What was the hand? It was Sarama, Yugioh, Engraver, and Ash Blossom. Those 4 cards. All right, JJ Cool Tune, Tribute Trackmaker. Search mix, Null Sun mix. Most importantly, did not resolve Q's Graveyard effect to manipulate the top deck. So there is one unknown card here in hand that could be anything for Unchained here. Let's see if it's a card that makes a difference. First, we start off with the Engraver. We knew about this one. Let's see if it resolves. It does resolve. We add Tracked. Is there a Droll and Lockbird? There isn't. Okay. Which is, I mean, kind of expected, because we did just see the Droll and Lockbird in Quantal's deck, meaning that either it's a shared card or Nicky Boy does not have it. All right, Fable Lurie also hits the board. That's pretty good. Are we going to try to resolve Mix immediately to pop that? No, okay. We allow the Requiem. And we summon a second copy of Engraver. We skip Lacrima here. I actually like that, because Lacrima doesn't really threaten anything, right? Whereas Engraver on the field does threaten the mix with its effect. So this is going to bait out the clip immediately. Yeah, it is shared cards, but it's not exactly like Worlds, because they're still using essentially the old World Championship rules from previous years with 3 shared cards, which I think if it was 5, we could expect Droll and Lockbird to be in a lot more lineups. But I think with 3, I mean, I think with 3 shared cards, basically Ash and Fuwalos are pretty much set in stone. So for the most part, there's only 1 shared card to really talk about, and then I don't know if Droll and Lockbird makes it into the third slot. And now we normal summon Sarama. Do they have 1 deck each and 3 shared cards? Yes. 1 deck each and 3 shared cards. And we go into Yama, and that's a pretty strong push, honestly. That feels very, very hard to stop for Cool Tune, because, I mean, yeah, you can Veiler the Yama, but the Buyou is still going to resolve. And we still have Engraver in the graveyard that we can bring back to turn into a sequence. There still is an Ash Blossom in hand, so if there is a Cool Tune Synchro face down, we can stop that. The Remix can still perform a Synchro Summon. But Mix's Graveyard Effect has already been used. With the shared cards, everyone can play 3 copies of it in each deck? Yes, that's how it works. Shared cards basically are just excluded from the shared card pool rule. Like, you can just play them everywhere. Alright, here's Engraver. It makes sense that we're not doing anything here yet. I think if anything, you would want to try to interact with Fiendsmith Sequence rather than the Engraver directly. But this could also make like an Unchained Soul of Anguish, right? Because this is an Unchained Soul. So you can make this is Link 3 Anguish if you wanted to. But we do go for Fiendsmith Sequence. And this feels like something that if you can, you would like to stop it. And we add Veiler back to hand. That is actually quite massive that we had an effect Veiler, because we could essentially use that twice now and make RS. So I'm assuming the plan is we're going to Veiler the sequence and then use RS to negate the Mutiny in the Sky. What did we hit? We hit Fiendsmith's Agnum Day. Okay, that could be annoying, but could also be fine. Now Sequence activates. That one gets hit with Effect Veiler. Here's the thing. If we can somehow clear this RS, we could be able to just outgrind Cool Tune here, because the only follow-up they have right now is JJ Cool Tune if they draw a tuner. That's the one thing about Cool Tune sometimes. If you can actually push into the board, they don't really have that much follow-up. And we put the RS in attack mode, so we allow the sequence to crash, which can trigger the Unchained Lord of Yama in the graveyard. We'll see if that turns out to be a mistake. Because now the Yama can bring back the Sarama can also crash, and that summons anything you want. Or bring back Engraver, okay. I was expecting the Sarama to come back and maybe crash. But Sequence can still equip, and we bait the RS this way. This is very smart. I like this. I like this. Because earlier we used the... I thought Engraver's field effect was already used, because I assumed they would chain to it with the clip, right? It was like, Engraver gets equipped with Requiem. Why not just wait until they target the mix with it to then chain the clip? Well, yeah, the RS has been forced, and now Mutiny in the Sky is going to resolve successfully. We still don't know the card that Nora drew for turn, but it looks like this could already be enough, depending on where this goes. They do play loose, the Dusk's Dark. They do play it. The question is the set card an infinite impermanence? But even if, here's the thing, even if you have Imperm for a loose, that still turns into an SP Little Knight. Potentially. And that SP Little Knight can then banish the RS, and then Nikki Boy is on no cards. Pretty much. And there we go. 3 monsters shuffled back. And that is loose. The dusk's dark. Can even drop Typhon if they have it. Not sure if they do. The extra deck seems very tight for this deck. Alright, we target a card. JJ Cooltune, which is a guaranteed way to create follow-up. If this resolves, I think they're looking very, very good here. And it does resolve. Send Sharvara, pop the JJ Cooltune. That's guaranteed follow-up gone for now. We get Abominable Chamber. There still is an Ash Blossom in hand for Nora. So that's going to cover a lot of possible top decks here for Nicky Boy. Here's SP Little Knight. Trying to get rid of RS or one of the face downs. This might just come down to whether Nicky Boy can draw follow-up. Because I'm imagining there could still be a Cooltune Synchro face down, which will trade for the Ash Blossom, and then it'll just come down to whether Nicky Boy draws a play. And here's Imperm. This I quite like this because Imperm now you can't dodge it with SP, and that's gonna get like, because if you chain here, then the RS will also come back. So we actually decide to let the loose resolve and Imperm SP instead. Just put Typhon. I don't know if they have room for Typhon. This is a Fiendsmith Unchained deck. They got a lot of extra deck space for those engines, and they played the fusion package for the Mutiny in the Sky. So I don't know if they got the space for this. Okay, the card they drew was a settable card. The card in hand is still the Ash Blossom. But here's the thing. Right now, Unchained has guaranteed follow-up. We've got Fiendsmith Engraver. We've got the Abominable Chamber. Multiple pushes next turn guaranteed. Cooltune Synchro is face down. That is most likely just going to trade with the Ash Blossom. There we go. And now it's going to be a matter of what did they draw? Stone Sweeper. Oh, Stone Sweeper is way worse than a normal summon here, I feel like. Because now there's a window to respond with SP Little Knight onto the RS to force the RS first, and then you can just imperm the normal summon. This does only get Rico, yeah. Also, the fact that Nora has nothing in the hand means that we can't even resolve Rotary to search if we wanted to. Also, Cooltune Synchro is semi-limited in Master Duel, and both copies are gone. So depending on how many JJ Cooltunes Nicky Boy plays, there might not even be a target for Rotary anymore. Rotary's engraved anyways? Yeah, but you can add those back with Rico. Wait, it's not Imperm. It's not Imperm. Uh-oh. It's not Imperm. What does that mean? I wonder if it's Escape. I feel like if it was Escape, it was way better to use Escape in draw phase together with the Chamber, right? You just use Chamber, bring something back before RS can negate, and then just use the Escape to pop the RS instantly. I mean, Remix here, technically, like second RS... Can Abominable Unchained, like the Chamber, can you bring back in defense position? Because if it's only attack mode, oh, it's cross-out designator, okay. If that was Escape, we would have sent Shyama. Yeah. I don't think this is game. Am I tripping? Because like you go battle phase, you attack, that forces them to use the abominable chamber. That blocks one of the attacks. The other one goes through, but then you're still being hit with follow-up, like full force. This is not game, I don't think. Yeah. And here's the thing, Sharvara now sets a trap for next turn, and we still have the engraver in the grave for follow-up, so it's still doable for Unchained to come back from this. The question is, do you make B2B? Okay, Nicky Boy does go for B2B. And now what? Because as soon as you activate Engraver, the B2B is going to activate, which is not pleasant. The cleanest win here would be to just have an Unchained monster to normal summon, because then you just normal summon the Unchained monster, activate the trap, pop the B2B before it can even be used. But it didn't. There's no Unchained monster, it seems. So the B2B will be able to activate. That's tough. And we bring back Remix. That is so strong. That is such a strong part to get back for essentially free. Engraver level 8. Don't know if that matters. Does not use Remix just yet. Now Sequence targets the Engraver, makes it untargetable. Chaining the second B2B, however. But now what? The Engraver is going to be untargetable afterwards. Rico. Here's the thing. We've used both RS, and usually people only play 2. There's usually not a third copy. So this clip, I don't think this clip can make RS anymore. What can you synchro into anymore? You can make Crackle. Crackle is probably good. Crackle seems like a good defensive option. Also, you can Rico destroy the sequence so that the Engraver is no longer equipped. And then you take away the Requiem. Right? Then remix into Zaylin. How good is Zaylin in this game state though? Because I don't think what did we hit? We hit Aerial Eater. Because I don't think we have anything that can chain anymore. We banish Fiendsmith's Lacrima. We don't get rid of Requiem. Oh no, that was the random banish. Wait, was it? No, Clip was the random banish, and now we go Crackle banish the Lacrima. Okay. Is there a schedule for Worlds already? How rough are the 7 hours time difference going to be? I haven't seen the schedule yet. I don't know if they posted it anywhere, but I'm assuming it's going to start like somewhere around like 2 or 3 a.m. for me, which is rough. That's definitely rough. Friday starts at 9 a.m. for their time, yeah. Yeah. Oh, we haven't used Clip yet. Right, in hand. We can still use Clip in hand to trigger Zaylin. No? Oh, never mind. Can Mutiny shuffle from Banished? I don't think so. Nope. Graveyard into the deck. All right, I think Nicky Boy is out of interruptions, and we drew Roll and Lock Bird. The worst thing to pick up in this spot, I feel like. There was so many things that we could have drawn, but Roll and Lock Bird was not it, and Nicky Boy walks away with this one. Is this already the end of the series? How did the other play? Bronas won, so that is a 4-1 lead. And Quantal is still playing against Max. If Quantal wins this, they win 5-1. They immediately advance into the top 4 if Quantal wins this game. Team Yama has to win every single game from here on out, or they are eliminated. Okay, since that game is still going on, it's longer than the one we just watched, so let me speed this up real quick. Quantal going first again. Pot of Desires, Radiant Typhoon Vision, draw 2, perfect setup, 3 spells immediately, activate Engage. Search Linkage, draw a card. Phenomenal start here for Quantal. Drew Rose, but I think at this point you can probably live with that. No interruptions yet at all. Linkage. 4-0 into Engage, and then probably gonna pass the turn afterwards. Set 5 pass. 0 + 5 set is the end board here. And we start with Imseti. This card, and we get rolled again. Second time in this top 8 so far that Quantal has gone first, resolved the engage combos, and then had Droll and Lockbird on top of that. So that's pretty rough. Forbidden Crown onto the SP Lil Knight. Bring back Galatea, set some cards, get ashed on 0 at least. Pass turn. Okay. Normal summon 0, make Amatsu. Second Rose, not 0. Second Rose. We attack over that. Oh, we tried to play around Crescendo. That is a lot of shufflebacks. Talents as well. Chain Linkage. Last card in hand is another Imseti. 0 adds Engage back. Activate Vision, draw 2, discard Crown, activate Engage. And Max, I mean, still has the sarcophagus, but we banish the world wand. Here comes Imseti. Dark Magician of Destruction. Gets hit with Widow Anchor. Discard Harp Horror for King Sarcophagus. And these cards are resolving right now. Dark Charmer. Bring back Galatea Eye. Boost. Summon Sirius. Attack over. There no Ray? There is no Ray. Did Quantal banish all Rays? I think Quantal banished all Rays. Oh, wait. Rhoda. No, there's a Ray. Okay. But was it already in hand? Like, was the only Ray in hand and that's why we couldn't activate 0? That's possible. Zeke, banish. Make Rose. Make Azalea. Azalea effect hits King Sarcophagus, makes 0 again. 0 adds back Engage. Quantal down to 11 cards in the deck, but does have both Lemnis Gates in rotation still, I think. So can just keep recycling Lemnis with Lemnis. Still struggling to finish out the game though. Crescendo's Graveyard effect is going to guarantee some follow-up here. Normal summon gear, so it gets hit with Widow Anchor. Chain Shark Cannon on the Galatea Eye. Impulse onto the 0. Guess the Dark back. Why are we not bringing back the Imseti is my question. Linkage for 0. Add linkage again. Draw. Upstart. Attack gear suit. Chain. Activate another linkage. Make Kagari. 4,300 Kagari. Yes. Oh, we were locked into dark machines because we used crescendo, right? That's fine. All right. Lemnis Gate. Recycling everything. Bounces. Adds back Lemnis. 9 cards in deck. 8 cards in deck for Quantal now. Makes Amatsu. Activates Rose in hand. Remakes Azalea. This is finally going to get rid of this King Sarcophagus that has been there since turn 2. And that's going to stop the Imseti from coming back next turn. At the moment, there's no follow-up for Orcus here. We have the field spell, but the field spell is nothing. We've been looping this Shark Cannon very nicely. All right. Do we draw follow-up here? We just got rid of the King Sark. Well, to be fair, I don't think this does much. I don't think it does. This is so small. If one Lemnis was banished with Desires, this would have been more awkward. I think if one Lemnis was banished, then Orcus probably wins this, yeah. All right, one Widow Anchor is going to end this game by just taking the Imseti and attacking. And that is going to be, assuming that there is a Widow Anchor left in the deck for Quantal, which I think there is because we don't have any in the grave, so we probably shuffled them back. Down to 5 cards in the deck, down to 4 cards in the deck now, but this Widow Anchor is going to be the end of the game and also the end of the match. And it's going to bring, unless I miscounted, but I'm pretty sure it's 4-1 right now. That is going to bring, okay, Droll Lockbird BM. That is going to bring Team T2 into the top 4 of today's tournament. And Team Yama, we will lose them in top 8. Well fought. Some games are not meant to be won. And I think some of these definitely were some of those. All right. That is Quantal, Bronas, and Nikki Boy securing the win, moving on to the top 4. Let's see what other matches we have. We have Team GOLC versus Team RTR. Let's see what the record is at the moment. There's a win for GOLC. Here's a win for the other side. So 1-1. 2-1 for RTR. 2-2. 3-2 for RTR. 3-3. 3-3. Let me adjust that score real quick. 3-3 going into the last set. Okay, could not be closer than that. Could not be closer than that. Let's watch the middle table. Yeah, the last trade was in hand. Yeah, I figured. I thought all three were banished, but yeah, one in hand was also an explanation. All right, Ash on the Molcharmi. What a way to kick off the third set. What a way to kick off set number 3 here. Okay, well then. All right. Gaming, absolute gaming. All right, that means Team Goal C or GOLC. I don't know exactly what way it's pronounced, but they only need one more win to advance to the semifinals. And that's a good way to do it. Max C, in response to Rose, this hurts twice because you can't even stop here. You have to keep going. So we do make a 0 here. And we have Ash on that 0 as well. Nothing going right here for Sky Striker in this one. Still 5 cards left. And Clip at the end of the main phase together with Rico is going to make an RS right off the bat. Destroy one of those face downs. And get a random extra deck banish, which would really matter against Sky Striker too. Let's see what we hit. It is another 0. That definitely matters if this game ends up going a little bit longer, but we don't know yet how long it's even going to go with this powerful of a start. Here's the thing, you kind of want to, do you have to use the 0 right away? No, you don't. You can chain to the RS. Or force out the RS, and there's Q. Oh, God. Oh, God. It's not looking good for Sky Striker. We have Ghost Bell onto Q at least, stopping that starter from negating, or stopping that starter from spiraling out of control. Now we chain 0 here, trying to get rid of the Q on the board, but they also have Ash Blossom number 2. And the last face down cannot possibly change anything here because RS is here to negate it. And okay. Oh, hey, dude. Yeah. Yeah. Maxi, double Ash Blossom, Clip, Rico, Q, Cool Tune, Synchro. Yup. Yup. Yeah, that'll do it. That and JJ Cool Tune to extend. Or did we just add that? No, we added that. Yeah, we added that. Yeah, but this is just game. Special Rico. Add mix or rotary or whatever you want to go through to win this game. There's countless options. Could have just went Rico into mix and to make a second RS and that would have been enough damage. But we go through Track Maker first. We don't know what the set card is, but as long as you pop it in the main phase, there's an RS ready to negate it, so... Forbidden Crown could have saved them, yeah, but it was a Widow Anchor, but at this point, no point in using it. Yeah, but even if it was Crown to survive the turn somehow, like, I mean, you wouldn't win from that position ever. And that will end the match as well. Team GOLC is going to move into the semifinals. We can check in what's happening in this game, but if I counted correctly, that does not make a difference. And looks like they are also winning this one because it's turn 2. Branded going second here. This just screams Maxi or Fuba here as well. I feel like why did they pass on Aramasa? Oh wait, no, it's the they are playing into the branded board, right? I thought the branded player was going second. Forbidden Crown onto the Fallen of Albaz, I assume. Okay. Well, that means you're not going to get fused with, but you also will not be able to remove that Albaz, and it's in defense position, so they are probably guaranteed to survive the turn at least against Ryzeal Mitsu. Maybe Exiton Knight is in their deck. That'd be... Oh, nice. Okay, that's pretty good here. We chain Cartesia to synchro summon. Ah, you can just summon Albion and it goes to grave. That's cute. We destroy the Exiton, we take him down with the board. Oh, we make a dragon that devours the Dogma, which is actually unaffected. Okay, that works too. We chain Retribution in the graveyard here to add back Fallen and the Virtuous, probably because we want to shuffle back the Retribution with the Dragon that devours the Dogma. We also have an Ecclesia banished, so the thing about a situation like this against Branded is like, when you do Exiton Knight against Branded, you cannot do damage to them, so it's kind of like, you just have to give them all the follow-up in the world. So rough spot here, despite that Exiton looking real fancy, but ultimately another win for Team GOLC. Let me check how much time is left to see if it's worth jumping into another game. We've got like 9 minutes if there's another match still going. Looks like there is. Okay, Team BOE. I don't know what the score is here. I'm just gonna assume it's like, it's probably 3-4. Or I mean, it's because both of them are playing still. So, but I don't know who's in the lead. I don't know which team is in the lead. All right. What a wonderful timing. What a great time to join the match. Engage negated by Ash, linkage negated by Retribution. Okay. And the Droll and Lockbird is in the graveyard. But I don't think it's active. Yeah, I think Called By was used on Droll. But why is it in the graveyard then? There's one Droll banished and one Droll in the graveyard. So maybe they discarded one because they had two and then the second one got Called By. Wait, here's a second engage. Hold up. It's also turn 3, so maybe one Droll was used turn 1. And now we're in turn 3. Ooh. Talents gets rid of the Fallen of the White Dragon. Another... Hello? Widow Anchor. We steal Quem. Because the Quem can still trigger to bring something back from the graveyard. And I think with that, Branded is now completely out of interruptions. We can still go for 0. Was there maybe a way to make it game? Probably not. 9,000 life points? Probably not. Just Hayate. Linkage for Kagari. Add back linkage. That's game, yeah. Dude, that was the perfect draw. That was insane. It was exactly the cards that they needed from the engage draws. Like exactly. That was crazy. All right, and they win. Now, the only thing I don't know is if this was win number 5. I do not know this. But it looks like BOE still lost. Unless it was 4-2 for them before they entered this. So there's 1 win for BOE, 2, 3, 4. I only see 4 wins for BOE. And the opponents did not all use the 1, 2, 3. The history doesn't show every single game because there has been too many games. So I don't know exactly. I don't know which team won. I guess we'll see which team appears in top 4. I don't know if that win actually mattered. It might have, of course. But okay, it looks like all the teams are done. I'm gonna run quickly and grab something to drink before we start our semifinals. It shouldn't be a long break since all the teams are done. So we will meet again in a few minutes for the top 4. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. All right, and here we are again. The break was indeed not very long. Welcome back, everybody, to the semifinals of the Challenger Cup 3 versus 3 tournament this weekend. And as you can see, players are sitting down at their tables for the semifinals and starting their games right now. We are going to jump into Team NSJ versus Team T2. We've got Quantal, Nicky Boy, and Bronas. They're not all sitting on the right side of the table, but Quantal, Nicky Boy, and Bronas are together in one team, and Nick, Artoria, and Justinian are on the other team. Let's jump into this match. The other match, by the way, in fact, is Team BOE versus Team GOLC, so that is the other side of the bracket. We'll see which one finishes quicker, so we might be able to check out the other one. But let's see what Bronas and Justinian are cooking. Justinian is definitely going first. 40 cards versus 43. And again, this is the second time that this has happened today against Team T2, that someone just goes first and passes the turn immediately. And we have a Perulia, but it's Draco Tail, so that doesn't really care that much. Ash Blossom on Ketu is good at least. We set a monster and a... Okay, that is a weird Perulia line if I've ever seen one. What did we set? Super Poly? With an Albaz? Do we have a play now? We only drew one new card for turn. What is this, goat format? Pass turn again? Flip Magician of Faith, add back Ketu Draco Tail. Do you think anyone has done that ever? Do you think somewhere in the world a Magician of Faith has been flipped to add back a Ketu Draco Tail, chat? I have. I don't know if I believe you. You might be making this up. You might. Yeah, I don't, because I think honestly, I think there's a non-zero chance that this has never happened, but the chance for this to have happened and the person who did it being in this chat right now, I don't know if I believe you. Okay, Magnamood on Veiler is pretty good. I mean, Perulia, Ash, Imperm, Veiler. What deck is this? Is this just Cool Tune again? The Cool Tune viewing experience today has been something else, because like essentially the deck is unchanged, but they just lost a couple of starters. So a lot of the cool tune games are either it looks like nothing has changed or they just didn't draw play. If this is cool tune, I might be wrong. It might not be, but here's another Ash Blossom anyways. It is cool tune, yeah. Well, yeah, this basically, it depends what this set card is, because it could be, I mean, at this point, it's definitely not Draco Tail Flame anymore, I can tell you that much. But it could still be Draco Tail Sting, Draco Tail Horn. I don't know. We go for Rico. What's the reason to go for Rico over Q, you think? Maybe you don't want to have a light monster in the mix to play around super polymerization? That could be a reason. Because I don't know if you can super poly right now, but you can super poly on the track maker. If there is a set Albaz. But if there is a set Albaz, the question is would they have flipped it last turn to attack for more damage? What is that set card? That's my biggest question. Like, what's the monster that you just set? Yeah, they can Dogma now with the Magnemute. If it is Albaz. Raikou? It could be Raikou. You never know. Maybe it's Raikou. Imagine you go B to B and then you attack into a Raikou, but you can't activate because it's the damage step. And then they mill Ecclesia and Cartesia. It was super poly. Yeah. But what is the face down? It's got to be an Albaz, right? And we left it set to not show them. Yeah, it's Albaz. Okay. Well, here's Mirror Jade. We get 2 searches. But can those 2 searches play through the Mirror Jade banish now? And here's the thing. Because it was OG Albaz as well, we can go send Rindbrum and bring it back to try and fuse again. So I don't know if we can play through this. Unless the last card in hand is like a ghost spell for the Rindbrum or something, then maybe it works. But another thing that is really important here is the fact that the rotary is limited. So you cannot get another one to get the extra normal summon. You have to search for JJ to get the extra normal summon. And how do you clear this board, play through this Mirror Jade, and deal with the follow-up here? Normal summon Q. We can still go mix and search with mix. Should have attacked the set with Rico. That, I actually think that was, if you really make that read on Super Poly plus Albaz, which was doable, because I mean, we made that read as well. I think that was an interesting play, yeah. That genuinely was a way to approach this. It does depend on the last card in hand though, because if the last card in hand is not a tuner, then if you go battle phase with the Rico and you force the Super Poly into Dogma, your Rico is still gone. So in hand you have Rotary plus whatever other card. If that's not a level 3 tuner, then it doesn't matter. But I would have liked to see that. That would have been a really, really heads up play. I would have loved that. And now the big question is, does Pronas allow the Synchro Summon into RS here? Or not? Because RS could negate the Mirror Jade and stop it from banishing. Pronas right now does not have a tuner in the graveyard, which I think makes it so that banishing the mix here makes your Mirror Jade basically impossible to out. Right? Because there's a Q and a Rico. Even if they make Loudness War, it's not going to have the attack boost because there's no tuner on the opposing side of the field or graveyard. So the JJ will not boost it. And here's the thing, you can Rindbrum for Fallen of Albaz, but if the last card in hand is a card that stops that, like a Ghost Spell or something, then the Mirror Jade will survive because there's no way to out it with just Q and Rico. What does Cool Tune have in graveyard at 4 loudness target? They do have a Track Maker. They don't have Mix, but they have Track Maker, so the Track Maker would still be decent. Why is this Loudness War in attack mode? Aura? Oh, okay. Okay. Well, how much aura does that have? How much aura is surrendering? Anyways, Bronas won, Nikki Boy won, and Quantal lost. Okay, so we do have a 2-to-1 situation in favor of T2. And now I just have to check who's going to sit where, depending on what score I have to show, because they are not sitting on the right side of the tables. They ever. Never have they ever been on the right side of the tables completely. I got drolled for my life. Oh, you know what? As much as I feel for you, after the games I've seen from you, I feel like there's some sort of karma involved in that entire exchange. I feel like there's got to be some level of karma involved there. Because I remember in top 8, someone drolled their opponents multiple times and also summoned a droll before attacking for game. I vaguely remember that may have happened in top 8. Can you guys decide for a table? Like, ever? Can you guys just sit down and play Yu-Gi-Oh, please? All right. All right, so we just saw Justinian and Bronas in action, so let's check in with table 2, Artoria versus Quantal. The lead at the moment, 2-1 for Team T2. Let's see how this second set goes. Quantal going first with Sky Striker, Radiant Typhoon Vision in draw phase. Draw 2, discard a Shark Cannon. Good start. 2 spells in the graveyard right away. But Crocea on the other side of the table. Oh no. We triggered the Crocea with our quick place, with our Radiant Typhoon card. But we have Ash to save the day. Okay. We have Ash to save the day from the Crocea here. But we are now down to 4 cards going first. But the player going second is also down to 4 cards. And we have Pot of Desire, so we go back to 5 cards. Unless it gets ashed. Yep, okay. Okay, now that we've traded Ash Blossoms and both players are down to 3 cards, can we start playing? I mean, we do have 3 spells now, so little cheeky engage. Upstart Goblin first, okay. Yeah, of course. Of course. Not even close. I was never worried. Yep, of course. And we even search Widow Anchor, meaning we already have Ray in hand, unless we banished all 3 copies, but there's no way. Yeah, we have Ray in hand. Okay. I don't know, man. Every time I've seen a Quantal game today and yesterday, the hands have been literally perfect. I know the one time we didn't watch just now, Quantal did lose a game, but every time I've been tuning in, it's just been craziness, absolute craziness. We even search. Our hand is so good. We search Rose with Engage. Imagine that. And the opponent is down to 3 cards. The good news is, chat, that the game is still very, very open because the player going first had Ash Blossom and the player going second had Ash Blossom. And you guys know what that means. You guys know that this is going to be a very balanced game because both players had access to the same card. Here's a Widow Anchor being added. We are back to 6 cards in hand. All right, chill. All right, 6 is not enough. We want to go to 7. And we take our free destruction onto the Crocea with Fallen into Virtuous. But we send an Ecclesia indicating to me that we have a second copy of Fallen into Virtuous in hand already. Or we banish the other 2 copies because we can't go for a second one in the end phase. Okay. Alright, well, only 4 cards in hand for Radiant Typhoon. It's not impossible here. With a full hand, I would say, okay, maybe. But with 4 cards, I think it's going to be very hard. Radiant Typhoon Vision. Yeah. Alright. Yep. And Quantal takes this one relatively quickly for Sky Striker standards. I banished double Lemnis again. You don't get to complain right now. You are not in a position to complain right now. All right, we've got Nick, normal summoning Ecclesia, activating effect, which is the worst possible start into a Molcharmi Fualos you could imagine in Branded. That is very unfortunate into a Fua. Fallen the White Dragon brings back the Ecclesia, and honestly, you kind of just don't want to keep going, so we're going to use Nadir Servant here. The problem is, you can't even special summon this Ecclesia. So it's just the end phase now. Okay, Retribution is the set of choice. Which against Branded Draco Tail does make some sense, but super bulky. Dude, I don't know. Team T2 so far, Team T2 might just be unstoppable. I don't know what to say. Every time I tune in, it's either like really good hands, opponents just pass without a play. Like, I don't know. It might just be their tournament today. Second Super Poly for game? No, we're not going for game. Okay. Okay, it's playable. It's not easy, but it's playable still. The Quem coming out is gonna hurt a lot though. The Nadir Servant last turn hurt a lot. I don't know why we added Dogmatica Ecclesia. It would have been better to just add a second Fallen of the White Dragon for follow-up. Because we couldn't special summon that Ecclesia. Branded Fusion. Okay. And activates Branded Fusion right away. That is going to resolve. Are we really going to let the Quem revive is my question. Because I was maybe expecting even a battle phase to get rid of the Quem with the Aluber. We are going to play into the Quem. Okay, interesting. But we are kind of in this game now that the Branded Fusion resolved. Quem also gets to resolve and bring back the Ecclesia Synchro though. We could steal the target with the Fallen and the Virtuous. But we let the Ecclesia return. Bring out Fallen of White. And fuse with Albion. And we make Lubellion the Searing Dragon with it because we don't want to banish our Albion off the board to make Mirror Jade, I'm assuming. Discard Quem because we already normal summoned. That makes sense. This resolves. So here's Mirror Jade. A very important card in the mirror match. Especially since Bronas does not have a branded opening in the graveyard. The question is, when is Bronas going to start interrupting? Because Bronas does have Ecclesia, tag out into Fallen of Albaz, try to fuse and stuff like that. There's a lot of things. Probably their own copy of Fallen into Virtuous, and maybe even a Super Poly, because there's 2 face downs, but Branded Retribution is in the graveyard, so maybe there's another copy of Super Poly here. Plus whatever the Ecclesia and the Dark Dragon is going to tag out into. Alright, Mirror Jade effect. Gonna try to non-target banish. Bronas is playing a small Draco Tail package, so it could also just be a Draco Tail trap card, yeah. It's not impossible. Did Josh already talk about the Master Duel contestants for Worlds? I was gonna do that on stream this upcoming week. Because I'm streaming for the World Championships next weekend on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the streaming schedule this week is gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna take a couple days off during the week because the next weekend is gonna be, because of the time zone difference as well, it's gonna be like you know, pretty stressful. But I really want to watch Party the World Championships. But what I'm gonna do for sure at the start of the week, I think it's gonna be on Tuesday. We're gonna do like a prediction for Worlds kind of stream, like where we talk about what's gonna happen and stuff at the World Championships. So no, to answer your question, I haven't yet, but I am going to talk about all the things I expect to happen at Worlds for both TCG and Master Duel on Tuesday. Any plans for the time off or just chilling? Nothing in particular. I still have a couple of things left to do here at the new place. So I might get some of that stuff done if I find the time. Did you vote in game for who's gonna win? I didn't yet. I'm also going to do that on Tuesday. Or is there do you have to do it like beforehand? Can you still vote on Tuesday? I'm assuming you can because the tournament hasn't started yet. Yeah, we are chipping away at this board, but we don't quite get far enough. Should have held FNB to check Albaz. That's what I was thinking that they were holding it for, because they didn't use it on the Quem. I actually think it may have been good to go Branded Fusion, Chain, Fallen, and the Virtuous to destroy the Quem. That may have been an option, I think. And then try to check the Albaz with Mirror Jade. If the Branded Fusion resolves. Yes, Andres, we are going to do that on Tuesday, most likely. Yeah, whenever Fallen of White revives the Synchro Ecclesia, that feels so powerful. And now the Draco Tail cards come in. Not that we needed them anymore, but they feel like the final nail in the coffin here for Nick. Already down to 1900 life points, so this turn is super hard to survive in the first place. But with Arthalion being summoned here, using away an Urgula, that is going to force this Fallen and the Virtuous super early. And that's going to make it relatively easy, I think, for Bronas, for Nick, no, for Bronas to figure out a way to win afterwards. Did not go for reviving Mirror Jade, which is interesting to me. Because reviving Mirror Jade here, you can then use its effect to then send the Rindbrum. So you kind of just get more mileage out of this. Because you get the Rindbrum on the field, and you also get you get the Mirror Jade on the field, and you get a Banish instead of a Destroy. But maybe, yeah, maybe Bronas has their own copy, and they can just steal it then. Possible. Ketu for another Urgula. Secretarion? Yeah, we make Secretarion Dragon because we don't want to deal with the Fallen of the White Dragon being revived later with the Rindbrum. Normal summon Fallen of Albaz. Yeah, I mean, Bronas absolutely dominating this game. Second copy of the Dragon that devours the Dogma hits the field here. And that is going to be just a matter of a couple of steps before Bronas is going to take the game. Nick sees the writing on the wall, and now the big question is, did they win 5-1 again? Nicky Boy beat just, yes, it was a 5-1 victory for Team T2 again. They are absolutely unstoppable today. 5-1 in top 8, 5-1 in top 4, into the finals. Incredible performance. And let's check in with the other match. Let's see what the standings are. We have to count BOE versus GOLC. So win for BOE here, win for BOE here, win for GOLC. So 2-1. 2-2, 3-2, 3-3. Okay, 3-3 is the score. And we are in the third set. Or 2? Wait, did I miscount? Oh no. I think I counted 3-3. Uwa chained the Cartesia. You know, let me just very quickly check that I counted the result right, because I don't want to like say, oh, this is so close, when in reality it's already decided or something. 1 win BOE, 2 wins BOE, 3 wins BOE, 4 wins BOE. You are right. It is 4-2. It is 4-2. I was wrong. Thank you. I did miscount. Okay. 4-2 in favor of BOE, which means that they only need 1 win to close out the series. Okay, we've seen this already. Oh, fusing a Mercurier, sending Albion, set pass. Not the best opener here. Okay. Not the best opener here, especially when your opponent has a Magnamute and when your opponent's team is already up 4-2. This is not looking good right from the start. Royal Phimena makes Chaos Star Source Dragon. Oh no. Quem gets negated. Ash on the Ketu is here, but there's a Fall in the White Dragon. Royal Fall in the White Dragon. That card is so beautiful in Royal. But we are down to basically nothing already. So they're gonna live the turn, but the problem is there's just significantly more setup on the other side of the table right now, especially because we went Fallen at the Virtuous, sent Rindbrum. We don't have Albaz Engrave. We don't have Albaz Engrave, and the Quem was negated, so it couldn't send Albaz, which was probably the plan. But the issue is now, the Rindbrum, we could have sent a card to guarantee follow-up, like Albion, or Dragon that Devours the Dogma, or Albalenatus, but we didn't. Or Titaniclad as well, to summon the Quem in the end phase instead. Okay, we pick up Fall of the White Dragon, I think off the top here. Is that enough to make a comeback? And they need to. If they lose this, the match is over and we move to the finals. They need to win this, and it's not looking good even with Fall of the White Dragon. Which, Fall of the White Dragon is a really good card, but it's not going to make up the difference between these two. And there's a Secretarion as well. Okay, well, can't activate now, but can make Albalenatus, which is why it gets popped by Fallen at the Virtuous right away. I mean, we do have some resistance here, right? We've got End Phase, Fallen at the Virtuous, send Albion, destroy Secretarion. There's no follow-up from the other side, or Titaniclad. There's no follow-up from the other side here. And we get to next turn, we still have Rindbrum from earlier to bring back the Fallen of the White Dragon. But on the other side, there's also a Rindrum. So we add the Fallen so they can't fuse with it. Okay, I like it. It's kind of cute, this interaction, because Titaniclad doesn't have to summon. The only problem is now there is a lot of gas on the other side, and we do need to survive this turn somehow. We are at 8,000 life points. Oh. Okay. Interesting. We just want the recycling of the Secretarion so badly? It does make some sense, because now you can hold the Cartesia as an answer to whenever Rindbrum tries to bring back the Fallen of the White Dragon, you just go Cartesia, make Secretarion again, and there you go. I heard you'd be at some sort of hat format tournament in like 2 weeks. Yes, all the info is in chat right now. Thank you for typing the command mod. Dude, I almost forgot that they were playing Dracotail cards in this. But this Mululu could just put enough damage on board, and Secretarion is back, so can't really interrupt this well with the Rindbrum. Okay, fusing Maxi away is a little, I'll say it, is a little disrespectful to your opponent. Just a little bit. It's probably, I'm not saying it's incorrect. It might be correct. It might be correct, but it is a little bit of a weird flex. Yeah, and we're gonna force... Yeah, this is just it. Okay. And with that, well-executed Dracotail branded gameplay, we take down the mirror match here. And that, even though the other two games are still going, if I didn't miscount, that does mean that Team BOE is our second team in the finals. Let me just double check one more time. 1 win for BOE, 2 wins for BOE, 3 wins for BOE, 4 wins for BOE, 5 wins for BOE. Yes, they did win the best of 9. The other games are technically still going, but we should start with the finals soon-ish. I guess we can check what the situation is like over there, but the match indeed is over because they have 5 wins. We need Clappy and Om. Hold up, I'll add. Give me a second. I'll add it so you guys can stop complaining. I would give you guys perms as well, but I don't know how. I don't know how. I'll do it. I'll do it. Don't worry. Yeah. There's Clappy. And there's All right, you should have it now. I don't know if it works right away, but you should have it now. Okay. And finals. There we go. Reset score. Our finals is going to be Team T2 against Team BOE today. That is going to be our last feature match for the day of this Challenger Cup. So let's wait for our players to sit down. We don't have to go on a break before this one. I'm assuming it's going to start right away soon. T2 is back. When was T2 ever gone? Like why was T2 gone? I feel like T2's been doing super well in all kinds of Challenger Cups across the last couple of seasons. Are you playing MD after? I was gonna stay a little bit longer after the finals, depending on how long it goes. But I did want to take a look at the Magnificent Monsters stuff that's been going on first. So maybe we'll play some more Master Duel as well. But I don't know how long I can stay, because I do have some dinner plans later. It depends how long this finals goes for, and then how long it takes to look at the other news that have been happening recently. We'll see. But yes, I will stay a little bit longer after the tournament. All right, on your left, you have Nicky Boy Quantal and Bronas. On your right, you've got Slayer, Airy, and Bell. That is going to be our finals matchup. We are still missing one player, though. All right, there we are. Everyone is at the tables. The timer has not been started yet, so it should start any moment now. What time are we starting? Soon-ish. Are you taking tomorrow off? I am taking tomorrow off, yeah. I'm taking a couple days off during the week because we're going to be live at truly weird times for the World Championships. Because I think it starts around 2 a.m. for me. I have to look and see if I find the exact schedule. Yeah, demon hours. It was the word I was looking for. We're basically going to stream like all-nighters Friday morning, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning, because Japan is like 7 hours ahead of Germany, and they start the stream. I think usually it should start around 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning for like Japanese time. So it'll be 7 hours back for me, which means it starts at 2 or 3 a.m. for me in the middle of the night. So yeah. Okay, the first game has already started. Let's begin. Molcharmi Perulia against Cool Tune, I think is what Nicky Boy was playing. Not bad. Normal Summon Q, also not bad though. Deciding what to summon with the Q. Special Rotary. Okay. Playing around roll a little bit. And makes Track Maker. Now, Perulia is not like crazy good against Cool Tune. But of course, if you want to go for your maximum board, you kind of do normal summon 2 or 3 times in a turn. So when you do have Perulia against Cool Tune, it's usually still decent because they will only give you 1 draw, but then also not make the full board, which is kind of like the, I mean, not the ideal scenario when you activate a Charmy. The ideal scenario is you just win, but if it's, I think this is the, like, one of the healthier uses of a Charmy, where like it makes your opponent still play, but just play less. All right, and that's a good hand. It's a lot of normal summons, however, is what I'm noticing. Lucius, Malulu, Cartesia, and Frixel. 4 normal summons, but if 1 fusion resolves here, it's really, really good for this branded Dracotail build. Unfortunately, the top deck is going to be probably a Dogmatica Ecclesia, which is not ideal. Not the worst card, though, to play into a board. They actually banish it, and they leave Fuba on top. Okay, interesting. The thing is, like, we don't have the full info on what's in Nicky Boy's hand, because if you have 1 Effect Veiler, then you can literally just go special Rico or mix, search the other one, make RS or remix, and pass. Because if you just Veiler the normal summon, nothing is gonna happen. Like, Veiler the normal summon, RS the Nadir Servant, and nothing happens. So if there's a Veiler or Imperm in hand, this is just super simple, right? Like, they just sit there with 4 normal summons, and you just Veiler the normal summons, though. It looks like that's exactly what's happening. And then Molchami Fualos is drawn for turn. Normal summon Cartesia, activate effect. I think Imperm or Veiler is pretty likely here. Actually, it can't be Imperm, right? Because they went for a Cool Tune Synchro ad. But if there's no Veiler, I'd be surprised, because this seems like a very risky play if the Cartesia is going to resolve. Okay. Wait, what? But there's 2 Dracotails in hand. How are we gonna make this play? Why did we not make RS immediately if we didn't have Veiler? Okay. What was it? Lucia? Wait, there's 3 Dracotails. Lucius, Frixel, and Malulu. But we only use 2 of them to make Arthalion. I don't know if I would have kept the Frixel in hand. I feel like I would go for triple set here. Wants to destroy the set? Possibly, yeah. Because, like, the thing is, you could still be somewhat safe here if you have an Ash in hand. Because you can do, what you can do is, once that they set, let's say they set Ketu and Rahu, right? You go Rico. Actually, Clip into RS does cover both face downs, right? You pop one, you negate the other. That still kind of works. But what if the Arthalion... Is the Arthalion bigger than the RS still? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tuners? No. The RS is too big. But they probably... Do they still play SP Little Knight in Branded Dracotail right now? In Master Duel? Because I always tried to fit it in there, but I know it was hard to fit it. It's too packed. Yeah. Maybe. But Verte is also good if that's the option they choose instead. Verte is not bad, but can't Verte if one gets popped with mix. So this, yeah, actually it still works out. It still kind of works out. It just felt more dangerous somehow. Now they pray for no fallen into virtuous. Okay, the fun thing about Ultune is that they know that there's no fallen into virtuous, so they don't have to pray. They looked at the hand. Thing is, Dracotail is still kind of in this one. Yeah, Fua was not used. I think they should have used Fua in draw phase. I think 1 or 2 unknown cards in hand right now would be really, really good. Here's 5 mana. We can summon from the extra deck this turn because we're locked by Nadir Servant, but we still have the 5 mana for next turn. We go end of main phase, and they do use the clip. Clip plus Rico. Are we going to see Crackle again? Yeah, we see Crackle again. This is very interesting to me because Crackle doesn't really get that much spotlight usually, but it's the second or third time we've seen it today already. Crash Arthalion so that we have a target to send for Ecclesia to return, because we don't want to return our Albion, that we need that. But we have... Oh, they didn't know. They didn't know that Ecclesia can target Banished. They could have just left Arthalion on the board. There was no need to crash the Arthalion. That might end up mattering a lot, because we could have attacked over the Crackle instead. Which it would have come back, but now it can come back next turn. And also it's pretty strong. And they would have kept the Arthalion on board. A little bit of an oopsie here. Sending Dogma would have let pop the field spell too. Yeah, sending Dogma, because we hadn't used a copy of Fallen into Virtuous. If you send Dogma first, you can go end phase, search the Fallen, immediately activate it, send Albion, and destroy the field spell, and then still get Fallen into Virtuous for the next turn. Yes, I agree with you. That was probably the right play. Now, there still is a big 5 mana waiting in hand for EX Slayer here. And there it is. Big 5 mana activating. Oh, wow. Not going for an Arthalion, instead going for a Chaos Star Source Dragon. That's gonna leave the Crackle on the board. That feels scary, but it does put... Oh, it does put the Albaz in the grave, but Mourner, pretty good here. Not possible in TCG this Mourner, but in Master Duel, it does work. And that is not only going to negate the Chaos Star Source, but also, once the Chaos Star Source hits the graveyard, gonna inflict 2,500 damage. We do hit the, we do reduce the Crackle down to 800, which is good. Rindbrum gets belled. Okay, that is, I think now it's probably just, no more disruptions and Cool Tune can go for game here, I think. Yep, we did have the right tools here to stop all this. We had Bell and Mourner. And you know, I really think this one came down to the fact that we didn't go for the Dragon that devours the Dogma last turn with the, instead of the Albion, because then we would have had an extra Fallen and the Virtuous here, which could have dodged the Mourner, and that could have made all the difference. It really could have. Or we could have used it to play through the Bell by reviving if we have an Ecclesia, which I think we might not. Yeah, we don't have an Ecclesia. We would have had to destroy our own Chaos in response to the Mourner to make it resolve. But that could have made a difference. They still had Rotary. They still had Rotary, but if it's just Rotary, I think there's a world where it's not enough damage to go for game. And also, it's just a lot of small things, right? Hualos could have gotten a draw last turn, or 2 draws actually, if the game plays out the exact same way. They summoned twice last turn. Also, the Fallen and the Virtuous. Also, we crashed the Arthalion, which would have been another body that was hard to get over on this board right now. So there's a lot of small things that just culminate in this probably being a win for Nicky Boy now, because we know the entire hand. Visas, okay. Crackle comes back. So does Arthalion. Urgula and Cartesia are at the top. We banish Urgula. We give them Cartesia because they already have it anyways. Here is Loudness War. I mean, so far we still are kind of far away from enough. The thing is, the Chaos is gonna deal 2,500 damage because of the Mourner. So 4,400 life points left. All Synchro monsters gain 800. Visa's Armory Tara effect to boost is going to be what does enough damage here. Okay, well then, 33 here, 16 here. And Nicky Boy wins this game in the finals. I think this was a very interesting game to look back into if you're trying to improve your branded Draco Tail game. I think there was a lot to learn from this one. All right, Quantal and all of that, they are literally unstoppable today. It's crazy. It's just, I don't know what's going on today with Team T2, but Bronas won against Aerie, Quantal won against Bell, and Nicky Boy won against EX Slayer. 3-0 in the finals here. They only need 2 more wins out of the potential next 6 games, and they win today's tournament. All right. Since we just watched Nicky Boy, let's jump into Bronas versus Bell now. because we've seen neither of those players in the first game of the finals. All right. And now we have Bell going first. We know this is Sky Striker versus Branded Draco Tail. We start with Radiant Typhoon Vision. So we put 2 spells in the graveyard right away, and we fall. Is this Quantal? Is this Quantal alt account? Because Radiant Typhoon Vision into Pot of Desires is usually a certified Quantal move into Engage. Yeah, this is Quantal's alt account, I think. All right, we search for Ray. We normal summon Ray. We don't use the effect. We go into Kagari first. We go through Hayate on turn 1. To me, that kind of indicates that we are setting up a bigger Lemnis Gate, maybe? We're cycling a lot of Link ones. The Shizuku as well. What do they mean by this? What is the reason to go through 2 extra Link monsters here? Reveal Pot of Avarice? Dude, I would be very happy if we did that. I don't know if that is realistic though, but I think that would be awesome if they started activating Pot of Desires right now. Pot of Avarice. The thing is, how many Striker Link ones are there? Can you fulfill? Yeah, you can, right? 1 Ray can immediately make Pot of Avarice live, right? You can go Kaina, Hayate, Amatsu, Shizuku. Kaina, Hayate, Amatsu, Shizuku, and then Kagari. And then you have 5 in the grave, including the Ray, though. You don't want to shuffle the Ray back, right? Is the problem. You can go Ray into 0 into a Link 2. Yeah, but then you're not using Zero's effect to search. Then you're not using Zero's effect to search. You're using Zero's effect to tag out, which I don't think that's a good exchange. Ketu Draco Tail here is actually a really scary card to see for Sky Striker. This matchup is quite interesting. It's not easy for Sky Striker, even if they go first, to beat Branded Draco Tail if played properly. And I think Bronas is capable of doing that. Urgula and Fallen of the White Dragon make our Thalion. We have no other Draco Tails in hand. That does quite hurt, I would say. I think that does quite hurt. And we are going to activate that Urgula. On the other hand, Urgula is a phenomenal card here because we're going to non-target force some of these back rows, maybe. Widow Anchor onto the Arthalion. We have a way to dodge it. Is there a second Widow Anchor or Droplet or Crown? There is Droplet. Sending a spell to stop another way of chaining to it. The only thing that could chain to it is Phimena here with another card in hand, which would be phenomenal, but it's not here. So the Droplet is going to stop the Arthalion, and I think that is the biggest issue for Bronas here, is that we're not going to get back this Fallen of the White Dragon. We still get to pop. We hit linkage. We set 1, but 0 can just pop that card. And there they go. Yeah, we needed more Draco Tail names, I think, for this Arthalion to be good enough. We can get rid of another back row here. We are kind of close to cracking this board, but not quite there yet. Maybe a Rahu Heart Drawn could do it, or Branded Fusion. If we activate Branded Fusion now, I think it's doable. Add back Fallen and the Virtuous. We've already used it this turn, so we can't use it again. It's not that great against Striker anyways. Uh-oh. Set 1 is not a good sign. Set 2 is also not a good sign. Because you wouldn't do that before activating Branded Fusion, I don't think. This game is for fun now. Oh, okay. Dude, that's crazy. Well, I know what that means. Thank you for the spoilers. Oh, it was the second Ketu in hand. I mean, yeah, Bronas. I think Bronas probably loses this, even though this is a strong Mirror Jade. This is a strong Mirror Jade, and especially if the Rose gets banished, there's a chance that Bronas walks away with this one. Because if there's another Rose banished and we banish the second Rose, maybe Branded Draco Tail can actually win the grind game from here. It's not impossible. If the second Rose is in the deck still, I think it's a win for Sky Striker, though. Almost guaranteed. Of course, you still need to play it properly, but... Add back Lemnis, and now we fire this Lemnis Gate into this board that's threatening to bounce both back rows. First we engage. We destroy our own Mirror Jade. We don't want it back in the extra deck. We want it in the graveyard so we can revive it again later. But we are also going to lose the other face down. It's going to go back to the hand, and that's going to mean that we only have one interruption left this turn from Branded's side, which is the Rindbrum reviving a Fallen of Albaz. Which actually makes me think maybe you would want the Mirror Jade in the extra deck so you can Albaz into it. I mean, not that that's going to work realistically. It probably won't. But here's another engage. Josh, I made a YugiTuber fighter tier list. I put you at tier S. That's the wrong tier list. I don't want to be in tier S in that one. Ooh, can the zero actually not activate? Because this was game if the zero could have activated. So the rose, I think the roses are gone. I think Bell is roseless right now. Which I think means that there's a possibility to come back into this game for Pronath. We do have Ash on high spirits here. This might be a game state where you don't have to Ash high spirits. Because, yeah, I don't know. I feel like you can hold Ash for more powerful cards in this simplified of a game state. We will see. Here's Droplet. Oh, Bell is not roseless. The rose was just in hand. This is the second time this happened today, which is weird. This is the second time we thought that someone was roseless and they just had the rose in hand. Actually, no. The last time it was Ray. We thought Quantal was Rayless in top 4. But the Ray was just in hand, the last one. I mean, I should have expected it. I've played enough Sky Striker to know that one rose is always in your hand, so that's kind of on me. That's my bad. I kind of misled you guys, even though I knew better. I apologize. Crash the Kid. This is probably the reason why we let the Mirror Jade go to the graveyard last turn, because we have the Springance Kit in hand. And once this goes to the graveyard, we can revive the Mirror Jade. However, Bell can play around this by summoning both of these in defense mode, so that the kit has nothing to run into. Okay, there goes the Ray. Ooh, Fallen at the Virtuous can still pop the kit though. Hold up. This might actually not be over. Because this time the second rose will be banished. This time, unless there's a third rose in the deck, which I highly doubt, we are going to be roseless. We are going to be roseless for real here. Both of them have been banished. Uh-oh. And end phase. It's never good when Branded gets to say end phase like that. Albion activates. How many Fallen at the Virtuous? There's one more. There is one more Fallen at the Virtuous. The Titaniclad. Was the Titaniclad sent this turn? I don't think so. No. Albion and Branded, the dragon that devours the dogma. Set Branded Sword. Add Fallen at the Virtuous. Okay. Branded Sword out of all things. It's that card is so funny to me. It just it's actually not even that bad of a card in a simplified game state. That thing just makes 4 to 5 tokens with 2500 attack. But at the same time, we are kind of down bad. But also, because last turn, the Shark Cannon was used to stop the Rindbrum. The Rindbrum stayed in the graveyard. The way that Rindbrum works, if one of the targets is gone, the other target will stay in the graveyard. So the Rindbrum is still here, and now we have a new Albaz. So I think maybe Shark Cannon on the Rindbrum was better in hindsight. Here's Kagari. You can cycle Lemnis Gate as much as you want. It's not going to give you the roses back. 8 cards in deck. 8 cards in deck. Lemnis Gate is going to refill the deck a little bit, at least. Kagari is big. It's actually, the funny thing is the Kagari is exactly big enough to go for game, but there's a lot of tokens in the way. Chain Branded Sword! Okay. Is this the first time? It's probably not the first time that someone draws a card with Maxi off of a Branded Sword token. Probably not. But it hasn't happened often yet, I can tell you that much. And one of the tokens has been outed. The question is, can we punch over all of them successfully? Because they're kind of big. Here's Ray. So we can go Zeke on a token. That's a free way to out one. Right? Zeke will just get rid of one for free. Zero to add. Add back engage from grave. Didn't make enough tokens, should have gone for 5. That was actually all of the branded spells that were in graveyard. There was nothing else to banish, right? You have to banish branded spell traps from your grave. You can't banish other cards. Okay, the tokens are exactly the same defense as 0 is attack point, so we can't run over. So we have to linkage to even get over a token here. What is happening? Do you just go for a 2500 Hayate and attack directly and try to do it again next turn? No. Okay. I thought that was genuinely an option. Just go for Hayate and try to attack twice. How can both sides be simultaneously so down bad? One side is playing with Sky Striker without Rose, so they can't use Zero to tag out anymore, and Branded is going for branded sword tokens. Oh, another. Nah, this time we're banishing the Rindbrum. Okay, we learned from last turn. The second Shard Cannon is what gets the Rindbrum. We have no target for Shizuku, by the way. Didn't even have a prompt for it. This is so funny to me. But Branded Sword is live. We can add back one of these cards with Branded Sword now. Pop. Target OG Fallen of Albaz. But can we fuse with that right now? Because Shizuku... Oh, it's 2500. That means you can make Titaniclad. No, but Titaniclad is also in the grave. Titaniclad is in grave, and is Mirror Jading? No, Mirror Jade is back in the extra deck. We can make the Mirror Jade again. Set! Super Poly! Oh god. So Ray, mod check. Ray's there, okay. But we can go Mirror Jade effect with current player priority to immediately banish. Chain Ray. Why are we chaining Ray here? Oh, because we have Anchor. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but still, I honestly, I don't know. I really don't know if Sky Striker has what it takes to finish this game. Because at some point, you gotta start attacking directly with Hayates. I feel like it was Hayate last turn. I feel like Hayate instead of Shizuku was better, because who cares if there's 2 tokens or 1 now? But the Hayate, because it was from linkage, it would have been 2500 damage, so the opponent would have been down to 1300. So another Hayate would have been game. And the thing is, Mirror Jade was negated by Widow Anchor, so it can be used again next turn. Okay, the thing is, even Branded, it's crazy to say this, but even Branded is running out of resources here. Because there's no more Fallen and the Virtuous. They're all gone. No more Retribution, that's banished. So we can't even set Interruption from Albion. And there's another Engage. At that point, that's not that's added back with Kagari. I don't think that was a top deck. And we have Widow Anchor. Do we have more Lemnis? One Lemnis is in the graveyard. Did we banish the second Lemnis with Desires? Okay. You're gonna deck out! Down to 4 cards. Now we make a 1500 attack Hayate. And we just link it off like that, Make Kagari again. Kagari is big. But now, hear me out. Lemniscate is game now, isn't it? Because you go Lemniscate to force out the Mirror Jade, and then after the Lemniscate, you go Linkage to attack for game, right? Yeah. Bell has Linkage in hand. Albaz is in graveyard, but Rinbrum is banished, so Rinbrum can't be sent anymore. Engage one more time. They didn't chain Mirror Jade? Yeah, because they have Widow Anchor. So if you chain Mirror Jade, they just take it with Widow Anchor, and that makes going for game even easier. Just attack. Please. Just attack. I mean, look, I get it. I'm addicted to drawing cards too, but... Alright. And there's the 0. And we attack for a game. Holy, what a game. It was only 7 turns, but it felt like 20. I'm not gonna lie. That was crazy. Almost came back from Bronas. That was very, very impressive stuff. Cool game. Okay. And of course, naturally, this game took longer than the other 2 games. I don't have to tell you that. So let's see. The other 2 games, yep. The other 2 games were both won by Quantal and Nicky Boy. So congratulations to Team T2 for winning today's Challenger Cup with a incredible performance. They won 5-1 in top 8, 5-1 in top 4, 5-1 in the finals. Completely insane. Congratulations, you 3. Very well played. Gave us some really, really cool games to watch. So yeah, that was the 3 versus 3 Challenger Cup for this weekend. I really hope you enjoyed the games.